This week is all about getting ready for the MOT, and it was supposed to be straightforward. Well.
Because what will happen if it goes wrong?
Get it fixed and then see if it passes the MOT. So stick around to the end for some more updates on things that we've been making and installing in the bus, as well as the outcome of that. But let's get straight into how it should have gone. Okay, so first quick job, I'm going to actually switch the engine on and let you have a listen. Hear that? So sort of a high-pitched squealing sound indicates to me that it's something to do with the belt. Now, belt is new-ish, water pump's new-ish, and so is the tensioner, because on this van there is no adjustment. It's got a tensioner on it, so I need to try and figure out what it is that's making that noise. So I'm just going to go around and squirt some lithium grease on each of the bearings of the fan and the alternator and anything else to see if I can quieten it down, to see what I might need to adjust or replace. Well. If you guessed this what it was, good on you. Have a look at this. Pretty sure that this thing should be attached. Okay, so up here, you see that there? That is a spline for my viscous fan. And I don't know if you can see, but it isn't attached to anything anymore. And it should be. Oh dearie me, that is going to be an interesting one. Oh yeah, that has sheared off. And you can see there where it's been resting in the cowl, and the spline's just been going against it. I think on this occasion, it sounds odd, but I think we've been probably quite lucky that that dropped down and that the bit was left on the spline was a bearing, because it's probably just spinning around and not doing much damage. Right, okay, we can drive it now. It's winter time, so we don't need the viscous fan, and we're not going to go far, so hopefully we can get this to the garage and get it sorted out. If not, I will source the part myself, but that should solve my squeak issue. Oh my goodness, right on to the next job. So one thing that they pointed out that needed to be fixed for the MOT was there's a small hole in the exhaust. I'm not going to show you what I've done there, you can guess. I've been under with basically some liquid metal, so the epoxy stuff that's made for exhaust, and I've gummed it up. It was the smallest of small holes. I don't think it would have failed the MOT. It was more of an advisory. The second thing was the door didn't open and close well enough, so I'm not going to show you, but I've given it a good grease up with some lithium grease to clean all the mechanisms, which you should do really every winter anyway. And now that opens and shuts, so we should be good to go and get it to its MOT later in the week and see how that goes. The only other thing that has been advisory on past MOTs is the rust underneath. None of it's structural, they all have it. Since then I have coated it in a bunch of good stuff to sort of arrest it, but none of it's structural. I've been under and checked. Now this door over here, when you're driving along, sporadically it will try and open itself, and it's because this clip here, so this stay here, is not deep enough. Now I've bought something new that's going to help me with this, hopefully, because I'm going to try and make an adapter to go behind it, just to pull it out probably 1/2 inch, to make basically good the wear and tear that we've got on this chunky piece of metal. And for that, I'm going to step over to my brand new 3D printer. So what I did was I hopped into my design software. Don't worry, I'm not going into too much detail. I made up a basic shape, extruded it, printed it off in PETG for now. Might switch to a different material. And now it's on the door. So we've got a little bit more to hang on to. so it shouldn't open when we can drive it next, which should help with that moisture ingress too. Now you'll notice some of my overalls, so that bearing that has given way on the viscous fan, I managed to get a new viscous fan, so that's fine. Fitting it to the fan that's still intact, thankfully, despite flying off into the engine bay, was straightforward. Getting it on the engine block though is not straightforward, and I've made a bit of a faux pas by taking the old one off. The pulley slipped off of the engine and I've run out of talent and time to put this right. I could really kick myself, to be honest, because I could have, I think, driven to the garage for them to dismantle it all and put it back together, but I thought that looks fine, it's just 4 bolts off and 4 bolts on. But now the fan's back together, it's obviously too big to get back up into the cowl, and I really don't feel confident enough, sorry to let you guys down, I feel I've let myself down as well, to take the radiator off and all of that stuff with the time I've got, especially as we're due an MOT on Friday. So I'm gonna have to, I think, ring for help and try and get the bus recovered, which again I really don't want to do, but I suppose this is why you have breakdown cover, and I think I've got recovery on it. So yeah, sorry guys, I feel like I've let everyone down here. So let's see. All right, you can see here, I'll show you on screen, basically that's what it looks like now and what it should look like. It's got a big collar around it that's smashed into 1,000 pieces. I've called the breakdown, they reckon they'll be here within 60 to 90 minutes. Let's see, because they reckon they're going to recover it. Honestly, I hope they can. I just hope it's not going to be too expensive. Like, looking at how that's gone, I just don't know when it would have gone. I mean, we were leaving a service station and it did make a weird noise, but that looks like it's obliterated. I'm quite worried, to be honest, at what the state of the radiator is going to be. And I suppose in hindsight, it's good that we can get it recovered and moved. Guys, here now. I still like, should I have kept it and fixed this myself? But I think it was just taking too long. And I probably would have messed something else up. But yeah, he's here. I'm just going to charge the tanks up and get it on the back of the van. I'm really sad. Really sad. It's weird. It's so weird.
Scary. Yeah. Because what will happen if it goes wrong?
Oh my god.
Might just be the weight of it getting on the vehicle.
I think one is a bit too long.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such an odd feeling. You're probably like, grow up, mate. Absolutely odd feeling to see it go. But off we go to the garage. And we're here. Honestly, it's so strange following your own little tiny home on wheels on the motorway. You know, it is part of the family, so I don't like leaving it anywhere. And part of me thinks I could have just done this job, but I think this was the right choice, but we'll see. One thing I will say, when he got it off the back of the low loader, I am very glad I don't have my old water tank, because it was tight, but absolutely fine. So yeah, absolute star of a tow truck driver, got us here safely. Now we'll see, get it fixed and then see if it passes the MOT. And so a week passed, 10 days to be precise, hopped on the train to go and visit the van, and here I am. So in that time, like, quite a lot has happened. So the van was fixed in terms of the fan. So that required the new fan bit that I got, a couple of other bits, and a bunch of new coolant. So that's fine, that's fixed. It had its MOT and I was all excited to come and pick it up, but it failed its MOT on some frustrating niggly bits, which I think I would have picked up for the most part if I'd had with me. So let me just go through the list really quickly. So the windscreen wiper did not clear. I hate that one because I would have just changed them, but you know, had to get it on the van and get it here. Bit of a kick in the bum. Not sure when it happened, but the rear brake light and light at the top on the back of the van, that failed. Rear fog lamp not working. Was a fuse, so that's fine. The exhaust, so the bit that I fixed was fine, but it revealed a bigger leak. Thankfully I bought a flexi, brought that down, they fitted that for me. And an anti-roll bar linkage pin or bush was excessively worn. So the rear anti-roll bar, the bushes on them, they've both been replaced. So what has this ended up costing me? In total, right, with these guys, it's cost me £685, including the parts. So in terms of fixing that fan, it was like 3 hours labour with them, which for me, I don't know how many hours it would have been, but it would have been a lot more than that. So in a way, I'm quite relieved that I've bought it here. Touch wood, I know it's fixed because I'm about to drive it home. And really, all's well that ends well. So I'm going to get back on the road. I'm really excited to be doing that because I do love this thing, even though it is sometimes a bit of a money pit. So yeah, I'm really happy, really, with making that decision. Could I have fixed it myself? Maybe. Would it have taken me longer? Definitely. And at the moment, I'm really valuing my weekends, doing all sorts of other things. So yeah, let me know what you would have done. Motoring for another year. Oh, an adult sized man's been sat in my seat. Oh, my goodness. It's been like Lurch from the Addams Family. Right, okay. Everything gear, the sneaky sausages. Let's see what it sounds like now. Still a bit of a squeak, but oh, I don't know. Oh, and I need fuel. Let's get on the road. Alright, we're back on the drive. That squeak actually did go away on the way back, so maybe it was just the new belt bedding in. Now, one of the things I noticed when I was on my last trip, apart from this door opening itself, which, you know, hopefully we've solved, a bit more adjustment needed maybe, is actually the driver's door. So on the driver's door, there's quite a big gap that actually opens up at the top of the A-pillar when you're driving along. So I'm just going to adjust that. Oh, shit the bed. They are stiff. Well, it's off. I need an extra pair of hands here. That's going to get a jack to jack the door back up. Honestly, don't try this at home. If it works, it works. Whatever. Let me show you what I'm doing here. You see? Oh dear. Right, okay. Let's do it back up. Whatever. Right, what I was actually going to show you, so around here, this is all the original seal, and it's still pretty supple, but clearly it's letting air and water in, which I don't really want. So I'm going to replace it. Now, from Merck, I got a quote, and it was coming out at over like £200, which, I don't know, man, that seems like a lot. So I've been on to a company called what are they called? Called the Seal Extrusion Company. And they sent me a bunch of samples, and I think I found one that closely matches what I need. So I'm going to swap this out now. It's a very boring job, but should be straightforward. Just got to pull this off because it's held on by force, and feed the new one on and just bang it on with a rubber mallet. Famous last words, eh? Famous last words. And you'll note in all of this, the van does need a good clean, but it has been laid up for winter. But yeah, don't want to clean it before I can keep the water out of the door, really. There's logic sometimes in my thinking. Sometimes. Okay, so of course the step liner and everything else had to come out because I couldn't get access to it. And then underneath there I found some more surface rust because these things love to rust. So I'm cleaning that up now and just whacking some hammerite on it for now. Problem for next winter to solve this. Everything takes longer than what you think. But yeah, this trim should just bang on, and then I think the biggest hassle is going to be getting the step liner back in because it's brittle as you like now. But yeah, it's all good fun, isn't it? All good fun. Alright, so that's now installed. I even sweep the step off. Yeah, it does need a good clean, and then all around the door shuts. We'll get onto that at some point, but you don't want to see that, do you? One of the things that I have bought, as I mentioned, and I've been getting really into it, is 3D printing. So I've made some storage solutions that I want to test out in the van. So the first one is this little doohickey. So the way that this works is it just screws in front facing onto things, and then you can store like books or your mobile phone or other paraphernalia in it, to keep it moving about and you're moving along. So I'm going to install it at the front where Cal sits, so she's got somewhere to put extra things when she's moving along, probably things like sweets and things to feed to me. So yeah, and then the other one is for above my driver's seat, but I could see these being used on maybe my doors or in other places, and it's these two things. So they work in a similar way really, in that you can space them accordingly and then have bungee cord strung between them. And I've also been making drinks holders, but that isn't what today's video is all about. You can tell I've had a bit of spare time. So all's well that ends well. We're on to our next set of fixes next, and hopefully getting away in the van. So we'll be back with you very soon. Watch more of my videos up here. Take care, guys. Bye.